Hi everybody, this is Spring with Embrace Life Coaching and Fitness. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're doing well. If this is your first time joining the channel, welcome. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join me and my team. And as always, any questions, comments, feedback, always welcome. They are read, obviously, and just put those in the comments below. And if you like what I share here on my channel, make sure that you hit the like, subscribe, so you don't miss any of the updates. And so there's like an RV that just almost pulled into the side of my car. This has been like a really rough week for me in vehicles. I may go into that depending on how much time we have left, but this RV guy is trying to turn around in a very limited space. It's like a full-size motorhome. Okay, he made it. Yay! All right, let's try this again. So yeah, I wanted to do my video today on what is holding you back from creating lasting change. It's human nature. We're going to resist change. We like routine. We like comfort. We like normal, what we're used to. And so whenever we start looking at changing behaviors, even moving to a different city or a different town or a different state or a country, a new job, all these things. But ultimately, we tend to go back into our patterns. So I'm going to go through a couple things here that I think are why people hold back from maintaining lasting change. Okay. One of it is lack of clarity or motivation. So the tendency is for people not to know what they actually really want or why they want it. So I do this practice that I learned from Dean Grazioso, and he said if you can ask why 7 times, like say you say to yourself, I want to have $1 million. Okay, well, fantastic for you. Why do you want to have $1 million? Well, because I want to start my own business. Okay, well, why do you want to start your own business? Well, because I want to have, freedom of my time. I want to be able to do all these other things, on my own time. I don't want to answer to anybody. Okay, so why? And if you can do that like 7 times, you're going to get to the root of the real reason why that's important to you. And when you get to that real reason, that root reason, that's where you're going to find the clarity and the true why, which is going to help you create that lasting change. Now, if you can't get that far, it doesn't mean that it's not a good reason to. It just means that the likelihood of you maintaining the actions and dedication consistently is going to be reduced because it's really not a big enough reason for you. And there's also the fear of unintended consequences. Of course, change makes change happen. So when one area of your life is changed, obviously it impacts different areas of life, kind of like a wheel. And sometimes it requires other changes, and the changes could be scary or potentially unpleasant. Sometimes changes impact other people, and it can be hard and emotionally straining to handle the reactions. We moved from Chicago to Florida, and my husband stayed in the same job, same company. For me, it was difficult because, I had to quit my job where I had just gotten a promotion and worked really hard for that promotion, to be honest. And moving to a new location, didn't know anybody, didn't have a job. Same thing was hard for my daughter because she was a sophomore in high school, and now she had to go through a whole bunch of changes. So while this might be something that might have been a great thing for somebody else, it was difficult for other people in the family. And so that's another thing that had to be looked at. What about fear of disappointment or failure? Your lack of faith that it's going to work, or maybe you're afraid that you're not going to meet your own expectations, or that others aren't going to meet their expectations, right? Having to say, like, the same thing with the moving to Florida. If my husband was like, well, she's going to get a job, that's his expectation, and then I'm having a difficult time getting a job and it's causing monetary issues, if we were having issues not being able to get a place to stay, things like that. So those kind of things can make it difficult to do these lasting changes too. Confidence in self-efficacy, a lack in your own abilities or inability to trust yourself. So that's that imposter system or imposter syndrome, where you're like, well, who the heck am I to, maybe I can't do this. That's another thing that I went through when I had 3-4 personal training certifications. Like I had the ISSA, the NASM, the NCCPT, the NASM, and I had different certs in all these different areas, and I was still like, oh, I can't, I'm not good enough to do this. I'm not good enough to do this. And that's because, I was comparing myself to people who had been doing it longer than I had. And so that might be another reason why you do it too. Of course, then there's the overwhelm aspect of it. The tendency to suffer from disorganization, the lack of clarity, and catastrophic thinking. So with that, I shouldn't say that this is easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. If you have that sense of overwhelm, it's just, take the big idea and then chunk it down into smaller bits, and chunk that down into smaller bits and chunk it into smaller bits. So if you've got like a 5-year plan, break it down to 3 years, break it down to a year and a half, a year, 6 months, and then a month, and just start working that way. And then you're going to alleviate a lot of that overwhelm and anxiety that comes from that. People also tend to get stuck in their habits or their patterns. Obviously, we are creatures of habit who value routine. I'm a big one there. Morning routine for me, it has to happen this way, and if it doesn't, I feel like the whole morning is like just weird for me. I get up in the morning before I even get out of bed, before I even open my eyes. Usually, I'm thinking of 5 things that I'm grateful for. I start doing they call like a box meditation, where you do like the 4 breaths in, you hold for 4 seconds, and you breathe out for 4 seconds, and then you keep that exhale for 4 seconds, and then you breathe in. It's the diaphragmatic breathing, and I'll do that for a while, just while I'm setting my intention for the day. And then when I get up, I usually go downstairs, I'll let the dog out, I'll listen to something that is motivational or inspiring, or I'll read something. I'll even do that like while I'm on my way to the gym. I can't do that now because I got injured in a car accident, but I will do that like while I'm on the way to the gym, which again, not going to the gym, throwing my morning off, and it's really kind of getting to me. But yeah, and then I drink my water too. That's part of my morning routine as well. I do my high 5 in the mirror when before, like when I get up in the morning, I go to the bathroom. Before I leave the bathroom, I've got Mel Robbins's. I've got a outline of my hand on a piece of paper, and I have that taped on the mirror. And before I leave the bathroom, I'm like, high 5, girlfriend, you got this. That kind of stuff. That's all part of routine. And then I have my affirmations that I do every morning. And then there's the fear of uncertainty and discomfort. Obviously, we are hardwired to seek comfort, stay away from discomfort, and to move towards certainty and avoid failure. So that's why it's hard for a lot of people to take risks, because we want to make sure that we're not going to fail. Nobody wants to fail publicly. I've done it. I'm like the master of failure publicly. But it's good because, I'm not perfect, and I'm fully transparent, and I'll be like, yeah, you know what? I really blew that one, but hey, this is what I learned from this failure. It wasn't like a lost cause. So that's all good too. And then fear of rejection, judgment, being different. I lived through that a long period of my life, even when I thought I wasn't. It was amazing. Amazing. I just wanted to, everybody wants to fit in. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to have friends, regardless of that whole, well, don't care what other people think. I think there's a point where you should not care what certain people think, but you should definitely care what some people think. If it's somebody who you admire, somebody who you consider a good person of character, integrity, care what they think as far as like, they should be good people for you. If it's just people who aren't doing anything, they have no goals, no ambitions, no desires, they're just getting up in the morning and today's another day and can't wait for the weekend. Don't care about what they're thinking about what you're doing. But like if Gary Vee were to tell me like, hey, smack, this is what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm gonna care what I think. He knows what he's talking about, and he's proven that over and over and over again. So I'm gonna care what he thinks. There's other people who I would say the same thing about, and there's other people who, if they said something, I'd be like, yeah, okay, why don't you just sit down on your couch and finish watching your video games, ordering your pizza, sitting in your mom's basement. I'm not going to care what they think, because I don't care what they think. But anyway, so these are the things that keep people from maintaining those long-lasting change. Just remember, that even the bad habits are rewarding. So that's another reason why some people change, and our brains are wired with like this. I'm thinking of like this red light that's like spinning in circles. And it actually sees like new experiences being threats, which cause like anxiety and fear. And it's like, hey, what are you doing? This isn't something you normally do. What's going on with you? Something must be wrong. And it takes time for, repetition and consistency. And then what'll happen is eventually your brain will be like, oh, well, yeah, this is good. This is fine. We're good. We're not getting eaten by the cavemen. I guess you don't get eaten by cavemen. We're not getting eaten by the dinosaurs. We're not in the caveman era. Stuff like that. Anyway, so I hope this has served you in some way today, even if it's just looking at me shaking your head going, oh, girl, you are a hot mess. That's cool, but I do hope that it has served you in some way. If it has, I'd like to hear from you. But until then, I hope to see you around. Take care. Bye.